Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the year-to-date implementations. This year, we've been very fortunate where we've had several implementations. I'm going to do a high-level overview when I get onto the carrier dashboard, but hopefully many of you have already seen these. We added the ability to view agency financial instrument amount back in March. We added the ability to view the agency changes at both the HOL and branch levels via that notification tab back in March as well. We also added the agency emails in June. We added 4 additional notifications in August, and most recently, I'm very excited to say that we were able to add the airline performance October 12th. And the roadmap that we have right now at a high level are these items that you see on the screen. Now these items will be in your survey. I know that there are other items that many of you may want, and that's really what we're looking for. First of all, what are your top 3 items that you would like to see from the roadmap, if that's applicable, or add your items that you would like to see. And as Crystal mentioned, that will go out in the survey. So with that, what I'm going to do, I think the demo is going to provide a lot more information that you'll need. So let me just move on over to the demo, and you're going to give me the control there. Do I need to minimize this? Crystal? Great. Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Hopefully I am still signed in. To yes. So just as a reminder, I am in the test environment, so all the data that you will see is test data. This is not real updated data. Also, it moves a little slower for those of you that are aware of the test environment. So now this carrier performance is the first screen you will land on. Prior to October, it was the agency landing page. But with the carrier performance, you will be able to see your information. So I have simulated coming in as a carrier. This is a made-up carrier. So let's just pretend you have signed in. You'll see your carrier code here and your numeric number. And then you can also see the all carriers, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Crystal, I just want to make sure that no one can see this up here and that it's not distorting this. Okay, great, thank you. Then you can also see your sales. You can see your average sale amount, your commission paid, your estimated cash savings, your ticket market share. And if you hover over each one of these question marks, it'll indicate to you exactly what's going on with that particular table that you're looking at. You can also look at your sales and transaction trends. We do default to the prior year and this year. You can look up to 4 years worth of data here, which is great. You can also look up your domestic, and you can look up your international. I'll click through some of these in just a moment. You can also look at your transaction types. So you can do that by domestic or international as well. Your GDS distribution, it'll show your distribution among all the GDSs. So you can see that with Sabre, Amadeus, WorldSpan, Galileo, Apollo. And you can see your credit and cash sales. This is your credit card sales, and then your cash sales. Then how those credit card sales are broken down by credit card brand. And then a great feature here going on is the top ticketing agents, and this is for your carrier. So you can look at this and see what your top ticketing agencies are for your carrier in the time span that you are requesting. Now, you can see that you are able to go back to all months, or you can select a month, whatever you want to do here. So we've defaulted to July. Like I said, this is old data. This is fake data as well, but it's going back to, I believe, September here, or sorry, June. July, thank you. I can't see it for this. But normally when you get into production, what you're going to see is you're going to see the September data. We do update that the 15th of the month. So the 15th of November, that will be updated again. Then you will see the October data. You're also able to query by quarter if you wish to do that. And of course, we don't have a quarter 4, so nothing would come back in that instance. If you want to see how you compare, like your carrier compares to all carriers, just click on all carriers here. You can see the difference there. And you can do that for the top 3 tabs here: transactions, the sales, and the average sales. Okay. And once again, you can do this for the 4 years with the sales trends. Hopefully this is very intuitive to everyone. And if you wanted to see your domestic, if that's applicable, and then of course if you wanted to see your international, you could go over to the international as well. Same thing with the transaction types. You can go to domestic, if applicable, international. Okay. And if you want to do any kind of sorting, you can certainly do ascending and descending as well. And that is it for the carrier performance. Now, if you see information on here, and if you want more information where you feel like you need granular information, this is a great piece of information for you, but you're thinking, hey, I'd like to see more, you can certainly reach out to your account manager or your applicable account managers. And we'll go through questions at the end of this. Do you want to do it now? Yeah, let's do it now. Great. Okay. So they're just going to send them via this way? Okay, great. So what kind of questions?
So if anyone has any questions in regards to the carrier performance module that Rita just had the demo on, please submit them now, and we'll wait a minute or two, and then we'll be moving on to what's new under the agency section, and then lastly the notification section. So we still have 2 more sections to go through today, but I wanted to give everyone an opportunity while it's fresh in your mind if you have questions right now on the performance tool. So we'll wait a couple of minutes. And again, please use the GoToWebinar tool to be able to submit the questions on the right-hand side of your screen. All right, so it looks like there are no questions at this time, so Rita's going to move forward with the second portion.
Great. That means that was really clear.
That was easy.
I love that.
You did a great job, Rita.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. This should look familiar, hopefully, to those of you that have been using Carrier Dashboard. This is the agency. You enter in your agency or your DBA or your legal name. So let me put a bogus one in here, 745. Well, it's back to that waiting again. You know, when you're in test too, that loading just seems to take forever. So one of the things that we did that I had mentioned is the email, the addition to the email. Prior, we did have some of the emails on here, but now we have up to 99% of the email locations on the Carrier Dashboard. Another item that we added is the total liability of the financial instrument. That would include the letter of credit, bond, cash, whatever financial instruments that agency would be holding. That's where that is. And then moving down, something that we did is prior, we had only added the notifications to the HOL. And as you can see, this is a traditional branch. So we did not have the corresponding notification down here for the branch, and we added that now. So whatever that branch is doing that's applicable to them, it'll go on the HOL as well as the branch view. So pull that up. You can pull it up in PDF or the CSV. Okay. And I am going to move over to the notifications. I'm checking my cursor on yours. With the notification, let me see if it's going to move for me there, Crystal. Great, that's easier. There you go. So with the notifications, for those of you that have never used the notifications, we have all of these notifications that are listed. It's the bankruptcy, the new agency approval, disapproval, withdrawn, new agency request, and all of these termination notifications, as well as the voluntary cancellation. The 4 that we added are right here. That's carrier onboarding, partial processing, carrier deletion, and transaction processing reinstatement. With this, you are able to look up notifications based on the date, and we've made this very verbose, very large as far as the query, I should say. So you can look it up just for today. Are applicable to you, then you can certainly do that as well. So if you only care about the terminations, for example, I hear that a lot, you can certainly click those, click OK, and then what's going to happen is if we have any of those notifications that occur, the following day, around 12 Eastern, you will receive a notification in your inbox indicating that there are new notifications on the carrier dashboard. Tell that alert that you've set, you can certainly go onto the carrier dashboard on a daily basis. The new notifications are updated at 7 a.m. each day. But at 12 Eastern, you will receive your alert if any of them are applicable that you have signed up for. And that is, in a nutshell, that is it, Crystal. Are there any questions that have come in on any of these items?
At this time, we haven't received any questions, so please feel free to start submitting your questions. We're going to go back to the presentation so you could walk through what some of the additional enhancement ideas are on the roadmap. And again, we'll be using a survey tool after the webinar, so you will receive the survey tool, and we'll ask you at that time what you would like to see as far as the additional enhancements to the carrier dashboard.
Okay. Are you sharing that now?
I'm about to.
Oh, you can tell I'm not as savvy with this as you. So, thank you, Crystal. So on the roadmap, right now, this is what we've heard from several of our customers, that they would like to see the ability to view the home office location when the branch is viewed. So when I pull up that branch on Carrier Dashboard, I'm hearing that you may want a link to the HOL, to the home office, to know who owns that branch. We're also hearing that the ability to view agency ownership when the branch is viewed is needed. We do show the agency ownership on the HOL, once again, but the ability to view agency requests for accreditation, this is around, for a lot of those that do specific appointments, when a request comes in to accreditation today, as you all know, we vet the agency in that request and approve it or disapprove it or withdraw. And then if there's a specific appointment in place, then that agency will need to do with whatever's expected from the carrier. But what we're hearing is the carrier would like for us to be able to send that request over to them, or a way to view it. I'm not going to say the how, but the request is to see it while we are still vetting it, versus waiting till the very end. Add the remaining notifications on Carrier Dashboard. We do know that there are several notifications that site. So it's not exactly a perfect solution right now when you're going to two different sites to review notifications. So we really need to get those remaining notifications on the carrier dashboard. A link to CTAC for the carrier dashboard, and that's the revocation and to see what if you needed to revocate a agency if they weren't supposed to ticket on you. The ability to, for the airline to create reporting on agency ticketing authority, that's a report for that CTAC. Ability to view individual agency ticketing status, and the ability to view legal associated groupings of agency, kind of like the super entity. In other words, who all is involved in that agency. So these are the items that we have. I will connect that we also have on our product backlog, but I think with these particular ones we've heard from a few carriers on this, so not just one person. Like I said, this is just a jumping off point. This doesn't mean that these are applicable to any of you on the phone. You may have totally different ideas of what you need, and we're certainly we want to hear those ideas. That's the whole thing here. We want to make this the best one-stop shopping tool for you. So looking at this roadmap and then thinking about what you want, those are the types of questions that we will be asking. Can we do a preview of those questions? Do you want to show those, Crystal, by chance? So the questions that we're going to be asking, as you can see, this is we're only asking you a few because we really want to get answers to these questions. So out of those top enhancements, you may say, I don't care about any of these, and that's fine. But if you do, I would ask that you put them in priority order. Additional items that we've not listed on that roadmap, I'd like to hear about those. And also, I'd like to understand how you're using the carrier dashboard, how it's working for you. If you're not using it, then any colleagues that you work with, I'd like to hear any pain points and what you think of the carrier dashboard. Okay. Any questions come in?
So we don't have any questions that have come in, so please feel free. Right now is the open discussion section. We wanted to leave a lot of time at the end for questions. Just so you guys know, one of the major topics that we have heard in regards to enhancements is the ability to be able to have additional agency emails on the carrier dashboard. This is a project that we're able to have agency emails by role and have that information available to all of our carriers. So that is something that's separate from the list. So I know many of you may think, I want emails, I want agency emails, more agency emails than what we have today, but that is a separate project that's actually being prioritized currently. But if there are any other questions in related to carrier dashboard or any questions in general, please feel free to submit them now. Anita, I will sit here and
sing a tune.
Anxiously await for your emails or your questions. So one of the questions that came in is what exactly the carrier savings section on the carrier performance tool. So
let's go back to pull that up. Yeah. So I'm thinking they're talking about the estimated cash savings.
Yes.
We're going back and forth is the 0%. So yes, how is it calculated, and that seems to be a question that has come up a couple of times. I did answer that at the Travel Connect too, I remember. So the estimated cash savings is calculated. It's a 2% of your cash sales. So they estimate it with 2%, and that is minus the refunds and exchanges. That's how that's estimated.
Correct. So it's pretty much a savings if you not having to pay those merchant fees. And I'm sorry that it's raining in Seattle. I just got that.
Is it always raining? But we love their coffee in their city.
So another question for the carrier performance, will they be able to see refund data? So that is available if you look down under the sales and transaction trends section.
I'm in UAT and that's messing up. So let me get into production and it will not show all carriers because it will default to all carriers, because it looks like my UAT is messing up on me. So allow me to just kind of get in. Hopefully I can get in quickly here.
So while Rita is doing that, I'll answer another question that just came in. For the total sales, does that also include taxes? No, taxes are not included in that. It's truly just the total of the sales. And another question that just came in, are there any plans on adding an export option on the carrier performance? Yes, there is. In fact, we know this is something that several of our carriers would like to see, and we are adding it to the roadmap as an enhancement to be able to export it into Excel or PDF. Keep the questions coming while Rita's signing in to show the data.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you can use your file up at the top of your browser. It's not as pretty. We admittingly know that, but you can print that page out. Okay, here we are. So this is production. I'm not showing any specific carrier's information. You all can see this in real life. This is the defaulted to here. So Crystal, you were answering the question on the...
It was the refund information. Is that available?
Oh, yes,
so
it's right down.
Scroll down. Yeah, so if you scroll down, if you look under transaction types, the total number of refunds that make up the total transactions is listed there. Again, all transactions are made up of all your sales, exchanges, refunds, and EMDs. You're also able to see a breakout of that from your domestic and international sales, or transactions rather. However, one caveat, EMDs, we're unable to identify if those are domestic or international. So that's why you'll only be able to see EMDs on the total page, and you will not be able to see that breakout of EMDs on the domestic and international pages. Tool, as well as the agency notification page and the agencies and the notification page.
I'm curious, and I know there's no way for us to tell, but I'm curious to know if the majority of the folks on the phone realize we have this new performance page available.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, I hope so as well.
I hope you guys are reading all the emails and newsletters that I put out there with the announcements. But if not, hey, now you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, if there are people within your organization who you would like to have access to this, now that it is a new tool, please feel free to contact your primary admin and have them create an access account for those individuals that you would like to have access to the carrier dashboard. For top ticketing agencies, does the data include all branch offices or the individual ARC number? And
it's the ARC number.
It is the individual ARC number, so it's not a roll-up, it's the actual individual ARC number. Domestic and international on one ticket, where does the sale fall? And I'm trying to remember this logic we've had. So if it's a domestic and international, say LAX to Tokyo,
right,
that would be considered an international sale versus a domestic sale.
Yeah, because they're going international.
So another question is, how will we know if the agency number is a HOL? If you go to, you could take that number and go to the next tab, which has agency information, and once you enter that ARC number in, you will then be able to see on the list if they are a branch or a home office. So Rita's going to do a quick demo on that now.
Click this if home office list branches. So if this is a home office, it's going to list all the applicable branches that go along with this.
Correct. So as you can see, the number she entered, 45806692, is in fact a home office. But you're also able to see all the branches under that home office by selecting that indicator of if it is a home office, list the branches in a result. So As Airline, you could pretty much toggle between back and forth. If you see your top 10 agencies and you want more details on those agencies that are making up your top 10 ticketing agencies, you can always take the ARC number, go over to the agency tab, and then get further information on that agency. And another question came up, the Y over Y stands for year over year. So carrier performance pretty much shows you your current year plus the last 3 years transactions. So what we're currently looking at, if you look at the transactions, it's a 2.98% growth year over. If it's declining or decreasing, it's in red. And so that shows how we compare for the same time frame from the previous year of 2016, excuse me.
Yo, you didn't say 2006.
2006, wow. That was
Must have been a good year.
It was. That was 2006 was the year I started ARC.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
It was a good year. So, are there any other questions? As you can tell, Rita and I work very close together.
We clearly entertain ourselves.
We do. We have been in several meetings on making sure all the data elements were mapping properly for this tool prior to launching. So, we work very well in a lot together.
Yes, we do.
And I'll give it one more minute for additional. Another question is, can we identify which agency receives the amount of commissions? We are unable to show that on the carrier dashboard. However, we do have customized reporting that will be able to show you the commission breakout for agencies. And I believe that information is also available on the online carrier reports. But I will verify which reports show you that information and provide that detail to you. And again, remember everything you saw here. You will be getting a survey immediately once we end this webinar on what you would like to see as far as your top 3 enhancement list, how you or your team is using the carrier dashboard, and if there are other items on that you would like to enter that information as well. So those are really the first 3 questions of the survey, and then after that, there's an opportunity for you to let us know feedback on this webinar, as well as if there are additional topics that you would like to see in the future, please let me know, and I will make sure we have those webinars scheduled. As of now, coming up, we are going to have, as far as the next pretty much 4 or 5 months, we will have a Settlement 101 webinar. I'm trying to schedule that between December and January. And that'll be an opportunity for you to ask all of your settlement questions to our settlement product team. So those include the DRS, IAR, any type of settlement related questions that you may have. We're also going to do an NDC Now presentation. There's one on the One Order initiative, what that means to ARC, to you. And then we are going to have a web, the credit card chargeback process. So those are the 4 webinars that will be coming up between now and March of 2018. I know it's hard to believe that we're already planning. Q1 is already planned out for 2018 already, so we're planning away. So with that, I don't see any additional questions. Everyone can have another 25 minutes on their calendar. I really appreciate all of you calling in, joining us today for this webinar. Again, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to, you can always contact me. I'll also give you Rita's information as well if it's specific to carrier dashboard. Again, this will be available on the carrier education portal, which is behind my ARC. And so you'll be able to see this video as well as an additional 20 different videos that we have out there on several of our Oh, sorry, we just got another question. So, do the notifications receive the results of signing up for the email alert option, carrier specific for reinstatement? The bulletin usually includes multiple carriers included on the bulletin, and we need to check if it's just specific airlines is included on the reinstatement bulletin. That is something I will follow up on and let you know. I'll send an email out because I don't have the answer for that as far as what's all included on those revocation bulletins. It should be all carriers.
But one notification shows all of them that are applicable for that
day. Correct.
Right.
It should be all carriers that did revocations.
It would be.
But it sounds like, is it for a specific airline? So it should be all revocations for that time frame. It's actually for that day.
Exactly. So if there were 3 that occurred yesterday, doesn't matter what airline agency, they all show on the same notification. There's no separation with that. Hopefully that answers. If that doesn't answer the question, let us know.
And the only explanation I could have for one showing just one carrier is if
only one happened.
If only that one carrier did any action for that one day.
That's right.
All right. I don't see any other questions coming through. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. Hope you get to enjoy the weather wherever you are, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.